Oh no, guitar teacher, on the warpath. No, it's cool. You gotta have a good attitude. You gotta be happy about your job, and I love my job teaching. However, there are some things that I wish my students would maybe pay attention to. You know, if a student comes in and like, all right, Brooke, I'm serious about guitar and I want to learn properly. I want you to teach me correctly. And I want to learn the basics. And I want to know how it all works. I'm like, okay, man, let's make sure your fingering works. Make sure you know some notes on the neck and hold the pick right and know some chords. And then, you know, we'll throw some songs at you too. And then the student will come back. You know, I might give them a C major scale. And I'll come back to that in a second. So the student, you know, maybe they come back in a few weeks or a week or whatever, and they're like, all right, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want to learn this song or that song. And their fingering's all messed up. And they maybe just use these two fingers, ignoring the ring and pinky. Say like something like when I was hope that they would do middle and ring on something like that and develop, you know, the ring and the pinky. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, did you work on the C major scale? That clearly shows, you know, it lines up your hand perfectly to play correctly, if there's such a thing. So generally, if we're playing in the first 4 frets, your pointer finger, save that for the first fret. Middle finger is going to be playing the 2nd fret. Ring finger plays the 3rd fret. Pinky plays the 4th fret. But there are exceptions to that rule. Let's just back up and review that C major just for a second. All it is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Pretty boring, really. But if you don't know that, you're just going to be kind of out of whack. You're not going to be able to... You'll always be a little crooked. You're like, what do you mean C major? What? Huh? What? You know, this is like, dude, it's right here. I serve it to you on a silver platter. Well, actually a white piece of paper, or a video. Then if you go down, you know, your pointer's going to hit that F. If you go higher, it's just standard fingering, you know. That's something you want to figure out right away, you know. You don't want to be... You don't want to develop these 2 fingers and fail to develop the ring in the pinky, or especially leave the pinky out, which we'll get around to. All right, so that's just basic, you know, stuff. And here's another funny thing. These are kind of like black holes or blind spots that students have. If the student will come in and say, I want to play this song or that song. Here's where there's an exception to what I just said. I want to learn, say, Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day by Kiss. Okay, cool. Hit an A5. They're like, what's that? I'm like, and we'll look through their book, and I've written it out probably, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 times. Draw a picture of an A5, real big, like a whole page, and with pencil, make it really bold and big, kind of darken it in a little bit, and I'll make it clearly, you know, write index and have a big arrow pointing to that. Lay index flat. And the student will always come in and go something like, you know, or I don't know. Who knows? They come up with, dude, it's this. A5, A5. That's your pointer finger laying flat at the 2nd fret. So this is the thing I got to face every day. Students are like, you know, they come in since they were like little tiny squirts. Now they're like great big guys, and they're coming in. They've loved AC/DC their whole life. The first thing I probably told them is like, if you want to play AC/DC, learn the A5 chord with your pointer finger laying flat. And after, maybe 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th, they graduate, and I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, well, I want to play a song by AC/DC. Oh, I know that one. Starts on an A5. They're like, what's that? I'm like, really? A5? You don't remember that? Okay. I'll maybe draw it out. And of course, they'll come out in with something like, maybe middle finger. Like, it could work. Or ring, or pinky, or two fingers, or something. I don't know what they're... Anything. They'll do everything possible except that. That's really the way, I'm pretty sure, Angus, Kiss, Aerosmith, The Who, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, I don't know, Brian Setzer, Captain Sensible. Anybody that plays the guitar is going to know A5 is your pointer finger laying flat right there. Just trying to save everybody some time here, okay? If you go to E5, it's going to be the same thing, jumping over, and then go back. It's like the easiest thing you can humanly possibly do on guitar, and it's really common. So I'm just trying to cut through the confusion, clear that up for if people are still kind of like, I'm not really sure, what are you not sure about? I'm trying to be real clear. Yeah, pointer finger. And without a doubt, today somebody's going to come in and try it like this. If I'll say, they're like, Brook, I seriously just want to get back to the blues. Just the blues, just the basics, just some rock and roll rhythm. Okay, you know what I'm saying, Brook? I'm like, yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Like this. I'll draw out something like this. And without a doubt, they'll be going, well, I can't reach. I don't understand. I'm like, really? After 13 years of lessons, you're still doing that? Oh, it's okay. We're going to get through this. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop helping people. But if you just help yourself a little bit, if you could pay attention for like 5 minutes, just focus, don't think of anything else, and learn that one thing, everything's going to fall into place relatively easier. Your basic scale. So if you're doing like standard fingering, you're going to use middle finger 2nd fret. If it's like a G major scale, that'll be middle finger 2nd fret. But if you're playing like E and A and D rock and roll, it's going to be your pointer. So I would call this kind of a black hole for guitar lessons, and for, I'm just trying to help you avoid the thing that I see every day, and that just, I'm trying to make it easy. This should not be that hard. So that's something you can just clean up and fix today, and we won't have to talk about it anymore. If everybody could just do it that way. It's kind of funny, I got a sense of humor. I understand. It's absurd, but it'd be nice if we could just get beyond that and move on to something else, which, I'm just ranting a little bit, but it is kind of funny, don't you think? So if you got that figured out, congratulations, and I apologize if this is feels like a teacher going off on you or something. It's probably good for a few people, though. So it's good for me to get off my chest, and let's work on some other stuff too. So keep working, keep practicing. Scales are going to fix some technical issues, and then just basic positioning will fix other issues. So I hope that was not too confusing for anybody. So yeah, man, good luck, and let me know if this is too brutal or anything. But I think it's something that needs to be said and sorted out. So thanks for letting me tell you about that. It is kind of fun to just to see who's listening and who's not. All right. But I got students coming, so I must prepare. See ya.